Hello students, welcome back to the online classes. Today I am going to take a new chapter, lesson 10, the sermon at Banaras. So this is a small chapter. We know about Gautam Buddha, who was known as Siddhartha Gautama, and he was getting all sorts of happiness and joy because it was said that if he sees sufferings and all, he will leave the kingdom and become a great preacher. So his father kept him in the kingdom itself and gave all sorts of happiness and joy. So after becoming a sage, he was in Banaras. There he gave a small sermon. So it is about that sermon in this chapter we will deal with. So I will read the chapter for you and give the explanation. Gautam Buddha began life as a prince named Siddhartha Gautama in northern India. At 12, he was sent away for schooling in the Hindu sacred scriptures, and 4 years later, he returned home to marry a princess. They had a son and lived for 10 years as befitted royalty. At about the age of 25, the prince, heretofore shielded from the sufferings of the world, while out hunting, changed upon a sick man, then an aged man, then a funeral procession, and finally a monk begging for alms. These sights so moved him that he at once went out into the world to seek enlightenment concerning the sorrows he had witnessed. He wandered for 7 years and finally sat down under a peepal tree where he vowed to stay until enlightenment came. Enlightened after 7 days, he renamed the tree the Bodhi tree, tree of wisdom, and began to teach and to share his new understandings. At that point, he became known as the Buddha, the awakened or the enlightened. The Buddha preached his first sermon at the city of Banaras, most holy of the dipping places on the river Ganges. That sermon has been preserved and is given here. It reflects the Buddha's wisdom about one inscrutable kind of suffering. So, Siddhartha, who was the prince, and his schooling was done in the in Hindu sacred scriptures. When he came back after 4 years, he got married, and then he had a son. For 10 years, there was no problem with him. He was staying very happily in his family, in the kingdom. But at the age of 25, when he came out for hunting, he saw a dead man, a suffering man, old man, and a sage. And this changed his life. He wanted to know why these sufferings are there, why a person has to be sick, why a person has to be an old man, why a person has to dead, why a person has to become a sage. He did not get any answer from anybody. Finally, he left the kingdom and went in search of these answers. For 7 years, he wandered around the country, but he did not get any answer. Finally, he sat under a peepal tree and took a vow that he will not get up from this place unless and until he gets the answer for these questions. After 7 days, he got enlightenment. He got the answers from this tree. He gave the tree a new name, that is the Bodhi tree, meaning tree of wisdom. And then he went around the places to give the new idea, new understanding that he had learned from this tree. This extract is taken from that place. The first speech that he had given at Banaras, that was recorded and that is presented in this chapter. Kisa Gautami had an only son and he died. In her grief, she carried the dead child to all her neighbors, asking them for medicine, and the people said, "She has lost her senses, the boy is dead." At length, Kisa Gautami met a man who replied to her request, "I cannot give thee medicine for thy child, but I know a physician who can." And the girl said, "Pray tell me, sir, who is it?" And the man replied, "Go to Sakya Muni the Buddha. Kisa Gautami repaired to the Buddha and cried, Lord and Master, give me the medicine that will cure my boy. So, Kisa Gautami, a woman, a widow whose child was dead, she carried the child, went around the village asking people to get her child back. People started talking that she is out of her senses. Who can bring back her dead child back to life? But a person told her that he cannot give any medicine, but he can tell where to find it. So she went to the Sakya Muni and he will help you. So she came to him. Buddha saw her and she cried and told her, Lord and Master, please help me. Please cure my son. Bring him back from the dead. The Buddha answered, I want a handful of mustard seed. And when the girl in her joy promised to procure it, the Buddha added, the mustard seed must be taken from a house where no one has lost a child, husband, parent or friend. So Buddha said, okay, fine, I will do it, but you must bring mustard seed for me. She was very happy. Mustard seed, it's not a problem. Go to any place, she can get it. So she was about to go. Again, Buddha added, wait, you have to bring the mustard seed from the house where no husband, no child, no wife, no parent, no friend is dead in that family. From that family only you have to bring the mustard seed. Poor Kisa Gautami now went from house to house, and the people pitied her and said, here is mustard seed, take it. But when she asked, did a son or daughter, a father or mother die in your family? They answered her, alas, the living are few, but the dead are many. Do not remind us of our deepest grief. And there was no house, but some beloved one had died in it. So she went the house to house. People pitied her. They were ready to give the mustard seed. But when she asked, is there anyone in your family dead? Then they would say, please don't remind us of our dead ones, because it gives pain to us. There are many who are dead, but very few to remember them. So please don't remind us about our dead people. Kisa Gautami was going house to house. She was not getting anywhere mustard seed where no one beloved dead in their house. Kisa Gautami became weary and hopeless and sat down at the wayside, watching the lights of the city as they flickered up and were extinguished again. At last, the darkness of the night reigned everywhere, and she considered the fate of men, that their lives flicker up and are extinguished again. And she thought to herself, how selfish am I in my grief? Death is common to all, yet in this valley of dissolution, there is a path that leads him to immortality, who has surrendered all selfishness. So Kisa Gautami was tired. She was not getting any answer from anywhere. She was totally upset that what to do, from where I will get. Finally, she sat down after searching the houses. She saw the lights of the village. They were on, and after a few minutes, they all were extinguished. Then she realized that the life that is born has to go one day. It is a world of darkness. One who has born has to die. And she thought that how selfish I was, that I was just thinking about myself. It is not only I who has lost someone. There are so many who have lost their own people, their own beloved, but still they are carrying on their life. Dead is gone. It is waste simply weeping for them. We have to carry on, leaving dead behind us. The Buddha said, the life of mortals in this world is troubled and brief and combined with pain. For there is not any means by which those that have been born can avoid dying. After reaching old age, there is death. Of such a nature are living beings. As ripe fruits are early in danger of falling, so mortals when born are always in danger of death. As all earthen vessels made by the potter end in being broken, so is the life of mortals, both young and adult. Both those who are fools and those who are wise, all fall into the power of death, all are subject to death. Finally, Buddha told her, whoever is come to this earth, born on this earth, has to die one day. It depends only at what time, when. Nobody can say. We all are subject to death. If a person is born and became old, he has to finally die. There is no other way. There are, you see the fruits on the tree. They are in, when they are ripe, they are in danger of falling down. If they have not fallen, the wind will help them to fall down. The same way a potter makes the pot. It will be broken one day. Now these days we are preparing diyas. Diwali is coming. We will be buying the diyas. Once the Diwali is over, what will we do with these diyas? Either they will be thrown out, they will be broken, and once again they will go back to mud from where they had come back. So Gautam Buddha tells the same thing. One who is born has to die one day. Simply weeping for that person is useless. We have to leave that person. Don't weep, but leave him and go ahead. Of those who, overcome by death, depart from life, a father cannot save his son, nor kinsmen their relations. Mark, while relatives are looking on and lamenting deeply, one by one mortals are carried off, like an ox that is led to the slaughter. So the world is afflicted with the death and decay. Therefore, the wise do not grieve, knowing the terms of the world. So it is quite natural. No? One who has come, he has to die. What the use of lamenting? What the use of crying? A father cannot save his son. A son cannot save his father. Both have to die one day. So why to weep for them? They have gone. They will not come back even if you weep or if you cry. Instead, you will make yourself sick. If one person is dead and you go on weeping for that person, you will fall sick and you will also make go away. So better leave it. Not from weeping, not from grieving will anyone obtain peace of mind. On the contrary, his pain will be the greater and his body will suffer. He will make himself sick and pale. Yet the dead are not saved by his lamentation. He who seeks peace should draw out the arrow of lamentation and complaint and grief. He who has drawn out the arrow and has become composed will obtain peace of mind. He who has overcome all sorrow will become free from sorrow and be blessed. So Gautam Buddha gives a message that we should not weep, because if we weep for that person and lament for that person, one who is dead and gone, we will fall sick if we don't take care of ourselves, and finally we may also depart. So what the use of lamenting, what the use of crying when on a dead person who has gone? Instead, be peaceful, be patient. Let us bury the person who is dead and gone, and just think about it and pray for that soul so that it may reach to the eternal life. That's what the message Gautam Buddha gives. I hope you might have understood the chapter. Stay home, stay safe. Thank you.